Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
What are stage plots?
A stage plot basically shows you how wide and how deep the event space is for your band, right? Because there are certain minimums. If you're doing a 2 guitar, bass, and drums band, you can't get like less than 25 feet, right? But this kind of puts everything in a succinct drawing. Now, here's something that I'll tell you. I've been using the same stage plot for almost 20 years. Right, because basically it's always the same. The names are different, and it's so like you have a drum set in the center, you have a bunch of amps, you have monitors. You can do a generic stage plot and just put people's names. It just helps people who are working with the band for the first time to know at least who they're talking to, instead of going, hey, guitar player, stage right. For Ace Frehley, I've been using the same stage plot since 2007 because the layout has not changed. The members of the band changed. He was always in the center. We always had piles of amps. It's always an 8x8 drum riser, 2 feet tall, blah, blah, blah.
But stage plots generally are included in riders that go out to promoters and to venues. There's a whole category of what stage plots are and what they do. When you're a small band, probably the two most important documents you can give any venue are the stage plot, which diagrams how your band is laid out on their stage or any stage.
Right.
The dimensions that you need width-wise, depth-wise, and height-wise, for the stage, and an input list that tells the house guys what you need, microphones, where they're to be placed, where the monitors go. All of those things are the elements and the components of a stage plot.
And the smart guy puts the input list on the stage plot, because then I didn't get that piece of paper. The thing too is that like you advance these shows and the person you're advancing with is not even going to be on site that day.
A lot of chain venues like House of Blues have a production manager and then they have a day of show production manager.
Right, because they don't have to pay him as much.
Well, it's not just that.
It is that.
It's a long, time-consuming job. And if I'm production manager at a show at Madison Square Garden, I'm in that building from probably 5 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock the next morning,
Oh, God. I hope you get paid well for it.
Yes, I did. But they compartmentalize it now in the modern world where one guy does all the advance and then hands it off to the guy who's there day of show. So he comes in when you load in, he leaves when you load out. But what happens, as Bob is pointing out, is that oftentimes the information doesn't trickle down to the guys who actually have to do the work. So you walk in with extra copies and sometimes it's the first time they're seeing it.
Yeah. And it helps. I like passing them out. It's kind of fun.
Going beyond that is also, there's physical limitations to what can go into certain buildings.
And you need to know that. That's why you need to know how wide your band is, right?
Right.
There were times they'd say to me, our stage can't fit 2 Marshall stacks and an amp peg on either side of a 8x8 drum riser. And we go like, we have to have them, right? I don't care if they're sitting on the floor. I don't care if they're aimed at the people behind, It's like we just have to have them. And the funny thing is, mainly because when you use rental gear all the time, it's like the chance of having a dud or blowing something up, it's better to have more than to have less because it's a walk away, And nowadays, I see these really fancy stage plots that have little icons of monitors. Right? And little drums and little AC.
Individual drums, not just a drum kit.
Whatever, So mine just go drums, inputs 1 through 20. They go, what? A lot of drum mics. What can I say?
It's not just the stage. It's also the venue. There are diagrams that tell you because how many seats you can sell in a room are impacted by how big the stage is. And how much room you need between the stage and the back wall of that venue impacts where your row 1 is. So all of these things have to get mixed in before a show goes on sale. So for example, if you're doing something in Madison Square Garden, we're in New York, you have to know that the widest point is 85 feet from the bumpers, the hockey wall. That's 85 feet. Now your average stage in those buildings is 60 by 40. 60 feet wide, 40 feet deep. But then you also have some wings, you have other decking on the sides, and you also have to leave fire lanes. So that means your stage has to be between 4 and 8 feet from that back wall into the corners. So now you get into the world of what's called CAD drawings, and I don't actually know what CAD stands for.
Computer Assisted Design.
There you go. Thank you, Nitebob. Thank you.
I've done stage plots with a Sharpie on a piece of paper, a 12-piece band, because they kept going, we need a stage plot, we need a stage plot, we need a stage plot. So I did it on a Sharpie on a piece of paper with stick figures, right? You know, and little hand-drawn boxes. And on the side, there was a hand-drawn thing that said monitor, AC, musician, right? And I had a picture of a stick figure, you know, like this.
And I'm like,
I don't even know who's in a band at this point, because there was a private event and it was like the Rolling Stones horn section, Bernard Fowler, bunch of guitar players, bunch of background singers from Brooklyn. And I sent it in expecting to get heat from it. And they went, it's a little crude, but all the details are there. You know, and I was like, yeah, we'll make it fit, because it was at Cipriani in the top of Rockefeller Center, which is a tight space, right?
yes, it is.
Put a 12-piece band there. So there were people standing next to people eating dinner. Put the trumpet player over there, right? Or the sax player. Nothing better than having dinner and having a sax player honking away. Or the guitar players. That's even better. But what I'm trying to get to is that the more basic, the better off you'll be with a stage plot. What's important, your dimensions. You know how big your band is. You know, if everybody's got an 8x8, and if you've got like an SVT and then 2 Marshall stacks, it's X amount of feet. And you need room to get people, if there's not wings, because a lot of times there isn't wing space. You have to work behind that.
Especially nowadays with everything being in the air, everything flies. The PA is in the air, the lights are in the air. There's no ground support. So the need for wings is diminished.
Right, because it also blocks the view. It can sell more with seats.
Right, exactly.
Not so much in a theater situation, but in the arena situation. The space besides the performance space for equipment or junk like that. And a monitor guy lives there. The guitar techs live there. The band wives hang out there.
And if you're in a festival situation, you need a big deck off the stage for staging gear, for getting things on and off of trucks so that things can move while everything's still focused at the center of the stage.
But to all you people who are just getting started with this, I'm sure there's plenty of online stuff. I mean,
sure.
You get a tape measure or a digital measuring device and like find how big your space is. That's a good start, you know, because 20 by 24 usually is a deal kill. You know, that's the minimum for the bands I've been working for the last decade or so. We'll make it fit, you know, because it's money. You know what I mean?
We did 10cc in Leawood, Kansas on a 20 by 12 SL100.
Yeah, well, you know. I'll be outside in the parking lot.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
But there's some free stage plot stuff. It doesn't have to be really beautiful. That's why I was saying I did one with Sharpies, and just so they know where things go, basic thing, right? I'm sure that there's, you know, some very, very free, fancy ones with little pictures of monitors and little guitars and little drum sets and all that. Nobody cares, right? They look at your input list, they look at the space, right? And they go, shit's not going to fit. And you go like, don't worry. We've done this before. We'll make it fit, right? Because everybody wants it work. And if they do national acts, it'll fit one way or the other.
I mean, you know, bands are routinely used to figuring out how to make 10 pounds of gear fit on a 5-pound stage. Tommy James and the Shondells last summer, we did a private event in Naperville, Illinois, in the backyard of a guy's house who is a trucking magnate.
Yeah.
And he owned that house and the house next to it, which were almost identical houses. And we had one of the houses just to ourselves as a dressing room.
Okay.
3-story home, you know, pool table, it was very lovely, very nice. But the space that he wanted us to perform in was under an outdoor pergola with a fire pit in the middle.
Whoa.
We're literally having to put a Hammond B3 with a keyboard on top of it on stage left, 2 keyboard rig on stage right, 2 Marshalls, 2 twins, and 2 SVTs, plus the drum kit, and 6 vocal mics, you know, into this space with a fire pit in the middle.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, good paycheck, you know, so we'll make it work.
Exactly. You find ways to do it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, please subscribe because it helps us make for a bigger reach. Also, there's an email address, which is soundcheckdiaries@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. We'd like to know what you're thinking, what you like, what you don't like, how we could make this better and more appealing to you guys, right? So you can follow us on Spotify. We have a presence on Facebook and on Instagram. So join the party. There's a lot of good stuff in the shoot that I think you'll enjoy.